And we are live on a Monday. Good morning to you and happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to this one, the best way to begin a healthy week. It's a Clinical Monday, live on Oram Pop's Facebook page, also on our YouTube channel and on www.popn.org. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, man, we're excited to be here. We are looking at yet another, I want to say Clinical Monday topic, but we've had an opportunity to look at this topic before, but we are also revisiting it again because, hey, there might be some few things that we just want to speak about again. Make sure that you leave your comment on the comment section below, and also if you have a question, please do so. You can find us on other social media platforms. On X, we are at we are at PopNHealth. We've changed with the hashtag Clinical Monday. Today, the topic is African tradition medicine, or African medicine, traditional medicine, and HIV. And helping us to speak about this, it is their debut, their first episode ever. Hopefully, one of many, because you're not going to be a stranger. She has to say no because she's not going to be a stranger. And they are Mapule, Maponyane, and they are joining us from Oram Pop in Tshwane. Mapule, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Lee. I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
African tradition and HIV. A lot of our clients, or a lot of people that we see at Pop N, and I want to say it almost feels like it depends on the province, but I think in all provinces we do have those clients that are comfortable, going to a traditional healer first, or consulting the traditional way first before they come to the clinic, and that's what we are talking about. But how would you first maybe describe African traditional medicine in your capacity as a clinician?
So in simple terms, I would describe it as the oldest form of healthcare that was used by African communities. Mm-hmm. So it's mostly practiced by traditional healers, by herbalists, and through this they use herbs, the use of plants, as well as animal products such as skin and bones.
And you're saying it's ancient way of using it. I think over the years it has become a bit modified. Yes, still that remains the root of African medicine, but I think over the years it has sort of somewhat taken a different form. But in the beginning I spoke about our clients wanting to see traditional healers before they come and consult to a nurse. Is there a relationship perhaps maybe between traditional medicine and HIV treatment?
Okay. Yeah. So if you're being honest, like you just said, in rural areas, most of the people who are living with HIV do consult with traditional healers. And I think it's a good thing now that traditional healers or African traditional medicine has been incorporated in what we are doing as the healthcare system, because now it brings a bit of balance. Because back then you would have a problem with a client who would, for instance, start at a traditional healer and be told that maybe it's witchcraft, and then by the time they come to us for an HIV test, it's positive. So now it's a matter of who do I listen to? What do I take? Do I take the traditional medicine, or do I take the ones that I'm getting at the clinic? So somehow there is a relationship, but it's good that now there's a balance, because the clinical side can look at the clinical side of things, and then the traditional healers can assist where they can in terms of spiritual and ancestral support for the clients.
Almost alignment as well, because a lot of us, I think, I don't want to say it's a bit of, I want to say denial, but a lot of us would then tend to believe there is some kind of ancestral calling, and really neglect the fact that your test is positive. We've had these instances before. Ed, you are more than welcome to join in the conversation as well on our Facebook page or on our comment section. Have you had a situation where somebody would rather believe a traditional healer over the test results that have just came out positive? But can we use traditional medicine in ARVs at the same time? You did say that there is some kind of balance that has been struck so far, but can one use traditional medicine and still use HIV medicine at the same time?
Generally not recommended. And the reason for this is because it can pose risks. For example, if you're using traditional medicine and you're using ARVs, the traditional medicines may render the medication not effective. What we mean by this is that, remember, most of our traditional medicine may cause diarrhea. So if I'm using that and I'm taking medication or ARVs, it might be that the traditional medicine might flush out the ARVs out of my system.
Yeah.
So now we are surprised when a client comes, we test for the viral load and it's still high, and we might probably think it's not working. When in fact the problem is I am taking it, however the traditional meds might be flushing it out of my system.
Which that's why the not recommendation or not recommended score comes in, but people will still even want to use that. They still want to, because I'm thinking they will tell you that that's the, I think, belief versus reality now. They still believe in the traditional medicine as opposed to the treatment for HIV. I want to say, why do people then go to healers first before they consult? I mean, I don't know if you would want to jump at this because it was really made for somebody else, but you know, in your view, why would you think somebody would go to a traditional healer first before? And I mean, they will be presenting with symptoms,
Yes.
you know, and then they're like, yes, maybe I should consult a healer before I go to it.
Top of the list is the stigma and discrimination, because over there HIV has been stigmatized so much. So even now, it's still a problem. So people would rather go to a traditional healer. That's the first one. The second one would be when we look at affordability and accessibility. There's people who stay very far from clinics. So in rural areas, traditional healers are easy to access. And also, like I did mention before, to say in clinics, we do not offer spiritual and ancestral support, whereby a traditional healer will be able to help in that aspect.
Perhaps we should, eh? Plus, we have collaborated with a lot of our Inyang and Nezangoma. We do have them as part of our clients and as part of our beneficiaries. Perhaps maybe they can help and sort of like provide ancestral and traditional sort of aid, if it were. Would you? Okay, so you did touch on the risk, but what would be the I want to say the long-term risk, but before we get to the long-term risk, let's talk about the benefits. If I take it consistently, and I don't want to say not take the traditional medicine, but if I take my medication as prescribed consistently, even though I still have the urge to take traditional medicine.
Okay. If you take your meds correctly, the first thing that we're looking for is viral suppression. To say if you are consistent with your ARVs, your viral load will be suppressed. Now it brings us to being undetectable, which is very good, because if you're undetectable, then it means you will not transmit the virus to the next person. And then also, if you are taking them correctly, we are looking at a stronger immune system, meaning your CD4 count will be high. And then because of that, then you are at a lower risk of getting infected with opportunistic infections. Lastly, a longer and a healthier life.
Yeah, that's the message that we've been pushing. Hey, the new status is you cause you. So let's do that. I wanted you to unpack the viral, but I think you responded to it while we're speaking about you cause you. Let's talk about the long-term effects then of I want to say of taking traditional medicine, but yeah, what can it cause? Cancer? Can it cause? You spoke about opportunistic infections. Can one get at risk if they are using for long-term just traditional medicine and not taking treatment?
So when it comes to African traditional medicine, the issue is that there has not been enough research done in terms of testing, in terms of the dosages that are used, you understand. However, because we know that medication generally goes through your liver for processing, so if there's long use of that, if you use it for a long time, if the medicine is contaminated, if you use a lot of it, then eventually it can pose health risks, and one of them might or might not be cancer, because we don't have enough research when it comes to that.
But you hear in these streets when they tell you that even these pills, they took traditional medicine and made these pills, like you know what I mean? They will tell you that you took traditional medicine, you took a root of whatever tree, and meshed it up together to create this pill. Not necessarily HIV medication, but for some kind of pill. So there is that kind of a belief with traditional medicine, or rather any other treatment, or some treatments are extracted from traditional medicine.
Yes, because some herbs have got an antibacterial effect, an antiviral effect, and anti-inflammatory. So
most definitely, I see what you mean. I wanted to speak about it being effective, the effectiveness of using traditional medicine, but I think, because we've touched on the overuse of it, and I'll just, get to, but before, I still want to invite you to be part of the conversation for this one. If you are a traditional healer out there who is seeing clients that would potentially, present symptoms of HIV, how do you deal with them, and how do you get them to seek help? So Mapule, how can one use traditional medicine safely? Is there a safer way to use it?
So it's very important that when you go to consult the clinical part of it, maybe with your healthcare practitioners, very important for you to disclose the other things that you're using on the side, so that you can use them with caution, because they'd be able to advise you to say what can you do and what can you not do.
Got you. And is it wrong to believe in both tradition and and be like staunch with it, that one works?
Definitely not. I think that's why at the end of the day we have to incorporate everything together, because we realized that there's an imbalance. There's certain things that we can do for the client with Western medication or Western medicine, and at the end of the day we need to be real. That as African communities, we grew up, or our forefathers believed in African medicine, so also bear in mind that it's a matter of belief. You say other people believe that it works for them. So the moment you say to a client, you need to stop with this and focus on this, somehow it's like you're chasing them away, because you are choosing for them what they should be using.
I think also a great initiative that we have, or response, is giving traditional healers HTS training, so that they are able to, after consultations, then they're able to test for HIV in their numbers. It's quite amazing. Please pop in and find out more about that. We'll also try and put it up for you to read some more on it. But if you're a traditional healer, what do you say about traditional medication when it comes to HIV treatment? But that is that, Mapule, for this chat. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, we'll have you definitely again. We will see you on the next episode as we look at yet another clinical topic. For this episode of Clinical Monday, my name is Vee Ka Nkosi, and thank you so much for joining. Happy streaming. Bye.